Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your weekly injection of mind-numbing local news. This is episode 327. We are recording on the 29th of November, which is a Sunday at 10 a.m. sharp, as is the recent tradition for Rob and I anyway. And we're joined by Rob. How you doing there, Rob?
Hello, mate. Yeah, not too bad. It's Sunday morning. I feel slightly more awake than I did this time last week, which is good. But apart from that, it's still in lockdown. Looking forward to Lockdown Light being unveiled later this week. But apart from that, yeah, life just continues, really.
Good. Is there any news, Rob? Because, of course, we're going to be talking about news, real news, Rob, in a minute. But is there any news from our listeners?
Just to say, I mean, the stories really are coming in thick and fast. So thank you to everyone who's been submitting them. I'm just having a quick scroll through. I don't think so at this point in time. No, I mean, there's been a lot of, as I said, a lot of stories, but I don't think there's anyone's contacted us to say anything or share any pieces of information that we need to raise on the podcast. So I think we should be okay to continue.
Rob, do I sense, therefore, that we may be approaching another listener story special soon?
It is possible. I think maybe give it another 1 or 2 weeks and I think we'll be there, yeah.
So should we do that for Christmas? Should that be our Christmas episode, a listener story special? That'd be nice. That
might be nice to do, yeah. Let's look to do that. That sounds good.
Okay, well, let's get on with it then. We've got a lot to get through, as always. So, where to start, Rob? Where to start? I'd like to start, Rob. But one thing I'm going to say is that any long time, those kind of loyal listeners will know that, whereas I would say the first 250 episodes of this podcast that we've been doing really did focus very much on local news and local newspapers. They'll notice a rather rapid decline in that. I have to say, especially accelerated since coronavirus. I went to the News Shopper website this morning, which, as you know, used to be a goldmine of those very strange, short, slightly strange comical stories.
Of course.
News Shopper has transformed into what even the website looks better, but like a genuine news website. They used to even have a weird category. They don't even have that anymore. They've obviously decided to go in a completely different direction. It was quite professional.
Do you think this is because they have a new man at the helm? Now that Andy Parks has I say jumped ship, I'm not sure if he was jumped or he was pushed, but maybe it's gone into maybe the new editor-in-chief has decided, right, I've had enough of this. This is going to become a reputable newspaper.
Yeah. I think it's partly that, but I also think that they were really sick, as probably were a lot of these local newspapers, of us taking the piss out of them. But who knows? So, but Rob, nevertheless, this isn't going to stop us covering weird, strange news stories, because I'm going to start here with Joe Exotic. I don't know if you're aware of this. This is from the Pink News website. It's by Lily Wakefield from November 28th. Joe Exotic reportedly spent $10,000 in Trump Hotel hoping for presidential pardon.
Oh, that's quite sad.
That's what you do, Rob. If you want to be pardoned by Trump, you just turn up at one of his resorts, spend a lot of money, and just wait it out. Right?
Well, Alex, let's be honest, that is possible. I mean, given the fact that obviously Michael Flynn has been pardoned this week, and I think anyone who shows Trump the merest bit of attention, there's a possibility that if you are a convicted felon, he may well pardon you.
Sorry, Rob. As I wasn't actually listening to what you're saying, which I know is bad. It's because on this Pink News website, there is an advert constantly running on the right-hand corner, a video that just auto-plays, thankfully with no noise, showing an advertisement to see Steps live in concert at various venues such as the O2, Manchester Arena, Birmingham, etc. November and December 2021, and there is a code to save 30%. PFW Save 30 if anybody's interested.
It sounded like you were tempted by that offer, Alex.
No, it's been a long time since Steps were prominent. I mean, that's going to be bad, isn't it? And really, it's bad, worse than they already were. Sorry.
Well, Alex, it's all subjective. A lot of people used to like Steps. I can't say I was one of them, but
you're more of a busted man.
Can I just? Yeah, exactly. I'm assuming that Pink News is a gay website. Is that right?
You'd be correct to think that, Rob.
Yeah, because I thought I heard her name before. So, and I believe that Steps had quite a large gay and queer following.
But this just makes me want the pandemic to continue. If this is what we've got to look forward to, Rob. If we return to normal, it's Steps in concert and all, because there was a lot, there's a lot of things that, I don't miss. And that, I know nobody's forcing me to go, but it's just really. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I think the most depressing thing I heard is that S Club 7 were back together.
Yeah.
But they'd lost 4 members of I say band group, so they were.
Sorry, how the fuck can S Club 7 be back together with 4 members missing? That's less than half the group left. 3 group, so S Club 3.
Yeah. I can't tell you. I mean, I imagine it was probably Bradley because just because. I imagine it was the known racist Joe after her racist outburst on Big Brother, and the other one.
Well, also, Rob, there was I read the other day there was some Saved by the Bell reunion program apparently where they did another episode. But
oh my god, I bet that's a car crash.
Yeah. Anyway, look, Joe Exotic and his representatives have been running an extensive campaign to get Donald Trump to pardon the Tiger King star. Exotic. Well, by the way, this next even though I watched Tiger King. Even just reading this next paragraph, it is just unbelievable. Joe Exotic was convicted in 2019 on 2 counts of murder for hire for plotting to kill his nemesis and big cat rescue owner Carol Baskin, as well as 8 counts of violating the Lacey Act for falsifying wildlife records and 9 counts of violating the Endangered Species Act. It's just incredible just to read that again, even though I know it, just to see it summed up like that in a paragraph. What he should have done, Joe Exotic, if he was clever, was moved to Africa and set up a wildlife park there before the authorities could reach him. Anyway, he was sentenced.
Absolutely, yeah.
He was sentenced to 22 years in prison on, ironically, the 22nd of January last year, according to his representative Eric Love, who sounds like he should be like an 80s singer.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, you can imagine him crooning his way through a load of shitty songs. Yeah.
Exotic's legal team has been corresponding with officials in Washington D.C. in connection with arranging a pardon from Trump. His representatives have been chasing a pardon since April 2020 when in a coronavirus briefing, Trump suggested that he would take a look into the Oklahoma zoo owner's case. Not a euphemism. I just want to say Trump taking a look into the Oklahoma zoo owner's case is not a euphemism.
Is it beyond the realms of possibility that Trump would start dishing out pardons if you were to contribute towards his various lawsuits? Because obviously they've been trying to drum up money to try and maintain these. I mean, if anyone's keeping count, by the way, Trump's lawsuits currently stand at 39 losses and 1 win. So he really needs that cash.
Well, yeah, and I was reading a very long, very interesting article today in the Washington Post. It went through all of the legal sort of Trump's failed legal attempts, but it also kind of had conversations with White House insiders and everything. I mean, that article was pretty clear. It's over in the sense that he actually has nowhere else to go now.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I think going back to my original question, do you think there is a possibility that before, because knowing that I think even Trump knows now that his time is coming to an end, but I sincerely think there's a possibility that the Trump could start handing out pardons for cash.
I think it's a stupid question, Rob, if you don't mind me saying. I think of course it's possible and probably quite likely. Anyway, part of their campaign, this is Joe Exotic's for a pardon, also included spending thousands of dollars in a Trump-owned hotel in an attempt to get the president's attention, according to the New York Times. An anonymous organizer told the publication that Exotic's team had spent around $10,000 during a visit to the Trump International Hotel in Washington. This month, Republican Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz appeared on Fox News to say that he thinks Trump should pardon Exotic as well as himself before he leaves office in January. Maybe. Yeah. Gates suggested that the president should self-pardon to combat, in quotes. So he's saying that Trump should pardon himself. Yeah.
I don't understand this. Is this because there's a lot of debate about this? How can you pardon yourself for a crime that hasn't been committed? Or, a crime that you haven't been convicted for.
You can preemptively pardon. So Trump could pardon himself just to make sure that then the authorities can't catch up with him, although that won't work, of course, with the state-level investigations that are going on into him. But there is a lot of dispute about whether you can actually pardon yourself.
Sorry, I'll just can you one second? We've got a knock at the door. Bear me 1 second.
Yeah. Waiting for Rob to come back. Rob has returned. Hello, Rob.
Sorry about that, mate. We had a parcel delivered at bloody 10:15 in the morning.
It was not just that, on a Sunday. What courier was that?
I don't even know what it is.
What courier was that?
Yodel, apparently.
Oh, okay, we should be happy.
Do you want me to open it on the podcast?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, there you go.
Rob is opening his Yodel parcel. Right here, live.
I realise that noise is directly under the mic, so I apologise if that's loud. Right, okay.
This is hot news.
I don't know whether this is going to maybe come across as a yeah, that's okay. It's my order from Whittard's Tea.
This is the look. Ever since I've known Rob, there is a paradox at the heart of Rob the man, and that is that Rob, leave it alone, will you?
Sorry. Yeah, okay, fine.
There is he's so excited. He's already trying to get it all out. There's a paradox at the heart of Rob, and that is, on the one hand, he would happily eat, probably for a lifetime, in Wetherspoon's all-you-can-eat buffet sort of style food, but on the other hand, he has he has also expensive tastes like Whittard tea or liking a nice wristwatch. This is but no, to be fair, maybe you could argue that Rob funds his love of sort of luxury items such as Whittard tea or a nice wristwatch by eating in Wetherspoons. So it all kind of is one full circle.
Well, what I'll say is just to start that comment is, I mean, first of all, everyone knows that Wetherspoons don't and have never done a breakfast buffet, which may be something they've overlooked. I mean, although going forward, I don't think that's a possibility. And second of all, I just don't see
all you can eat coronavirus buffet. Take your chances for $4.99.
And second of all, yeah, I think like people say don't buy, or that life's too short to drink bad wine, and I like to splash out on tea bags, so I've just got myself another refillable packet of Darjeeling. So yeah, let's move on, Alex.
Look, Rob, we were talking about can Trump, right? There is some, as you know, Rob, I am a devourer of all things political, especially in American politics, so I read an awful lot. Look, there is a lot of dispute about whether Trump can actually pardon himself. And one of the ideas is, literally, Rob, that what he would have to do, he wants that pardon for himself and his family, that what he would do is, a day before Joe Biden is due to be sworn in, he would divest his powers and make Mike Pence president for a day, and then Pence would pardon him and his family. Do you see?
Yeah, I do.
Now, that is extraordinary. What I'd love is... just insane. What I'd love is if he did that and Pence went, no, I'm not doing it. I've worked for you for 4 years and hated you for the whole time, you bastard. That would be brilliant, because Trump couldn't do anything.
No, that would be fantastic. I would love to see that. I think that, to be honest, I think that Mike Pence is too much of a toady for that to happen. And I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, I don't know whether presidential pardons can be reversed. I don't think they can they?
I don't think so. But anyway, look, Rob, let's get on with this story. Gates suggested that the president should pardon himself to combat, in quotes, Rob, radical left bloodlust. Now, I'm calling it now. Radical left bloodlust is the best name for a band I've ever heard. A band that doesn't yet exist.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
If we can somehow get that into the episode title, Radical Left Bloodlust. He added, President Trump should pardon Mickey Flynn. He should pardon the Thanksgiving turkey. He should pardon everyone, from himself to his administration officials to Joe Exotic if he has to. Because you see, he continues, from the radical left there is a bloodlust that will only be quenched if they come after the people who work so hard to animate the Trump administration with the policies and the vigour and the effectiveness that delivered for the American people. So I think the president ought to wield that pardon power effectively and robustly. So he's basically saying, Rob, that the radical left have it in for Trump and all those associated with him, and that's why it would be fair and reasonable for Trump to hand out mass pardons and just throw Joe Exotic into the mix, who's got nothing to do with any of this.
It sounds like it was more for his own benefit than anyone else.
Well, Rob, talking about people on the run from the authorities, I've got a great story here. It's just a short... there's something I liked about this. It's from CBS News in the United States, November 17th, 2020. Suspect tries to escape FBI agents using underwater, in quotes, sea scooter in frigid California lake.
I mean, there's a lot to unpick there.
There really is.
Okay, underwater sea scooter.
Yes. A man wanted for his role in an alleged $35 million Ponzi scheme was arrested Monday after evading FBI agents by swimming into California's largest reservoir using an underwater sea scooter, federal prosecutors said. Matthew Piercy spent about 25 minutes in frigid Lake Shasta using the Yamaha 350Li submersible device before he eventually resurfaced and was handcuffed, CBS Sacramento reported. So,
I want to Google this. What's it called? The Yamaha?
Yeah, the Yamaha 350Li. Yes, please do, and tell us what it looks like.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what it is. So it's one of those devices that scuba divers tend to wear. It's a handheld sort of like motor that sort of pulls you through the air. Or pulls you through the water, really.
When agents went to arrest Piercy, he hopped in a pickup and led them on a chase that ended at the shoreline of the Lake North in Reading. I love stories that are like Grand Theft Auto come to life. This is brilliant. So let's just be clear, Rob. He's been indicted for his role in an alleged $35 million Ponzi scheme. Right?
I mean, that's incredible. Right, okay.
Yeah. He's eventually arrested, but not before. He tries to evade them. So his backup plan is if the FBI ever come knocking, I've got the sea scooter, there's the lake. But he doesn't really think about the fact that the lake is going to be freezing cold. So what I love about it is, where did he think he was going to... Rob, let's just get this straight. This isn't a bay. This isn't an ocean.
Landlocked.
It's landlocked. It's a lake. What did he think was going to happen? How long can you avoid the FBI just swimming round and round the lake? With limited oxygen, I assume.
Well, yeah, also, and as I said, it's frigid, so I'm guessing we're probably talking, because we're into November now, it would have been freezing. So even if he had managed to evade them for a couple of minutes, possibly about half an hour, if they had any sort of heat-seeking detection, it'd be quite obvious when he surfaced.
Piercy abandoned his truck near the edge of Lake Shasta, pulled something out of it, and swam into the Shasta, federal prosecutors wrote in court documents, calling Piercy a flight risk. Piercy spent some time out of sight underwater where law enforcement could only see bubbles, and that's when they learned he had a sea scooter, a motorised device that pulls users underwater at speeds of about 4 miles an hour. A Yamaha tutorial video describes the sea scooter as having underwater propulsion that allows users to cruise at depths of 100 feet below the surface. Attorney Josh Cons has clients who are alleged victims. You know, you never know what's going through somebody's mind when they're being pursued by the FBI, Cons told CBS Sacramento. You don't, do you? I mean, that is one of the mysteries of life. What would go through your mind, Rob, if you were being pursued by the FBI? I'd shit it.
Panic mainly. You're right. It's one of those age-old questions that we never really found an answer to. But I think if I was in a situation where the FBI were chasing me down, I don't think I would be thinking clearly.
I'm going to be honest, I would be starstruck. I'm going to tell you something about me, Rob. Whereas I have a natural distrust of like authority and things like that, so I'd be quite suspicious probably of agencies such as the CIA. I have an enormous amount of genuine affection for the FBI, the Bureau. And that affection has been born simply out of watching many, 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 many times religiously Twin Peaks, which gave me this this rather because so it made me like the FBI because I really liked the FBI agents who were in it because they were so bizarre.
Yeah, but that really paints the FBI in quite a romanticised view. But when I think if you look at the majority of
careful what you say, Rob.
Well, the majority of Hollywood
I'm not going to allow you, Rob. I don't think I'm not
quite a bad light.
I'm not going to let you say anything about number one. I'm not going to let you say anything against the Bureau. But number two, I really, want you to stay safe, Rob. So let's say nothing.
Thank you
About the FBI or the CIA.
Surely I'm outside their jurisdiction, right?
Rob, I'm not sure you ever are beyond the reach of the FBI. And can I just say, you won't be, if you do get sent away, there won't be any Whittle tea there. That's all I've got to say.
Alex, it's fine because I've learned that through all my research to QAnon, I can claim that I'm a sovereign citizen and exempt from the laws of this country, so I'm free to go.
You can appeal to Trump for a pardon.
Good point. Yeah, I've got a couple of quid knocking around.
Yeah. Yeah, because you saved it by going to Wetherspoons, remember? Anyway.
Exactly.
So anyway, he says, you never know what's going through someone's mind when they're being pursued by the FBI, and we kept investigating, and all of a sudden today, here he is trying to escape into a lake using a submersible device. Last week, a grand jury indicted Piercy and his business partner, Kenneth Winton, 67, of Oroville, the Sacramento Bee, reported. What a great name for a paper. It wasn't immediately known if the 44-year-old has an attorney. I'm assuming he does. Piercy is accused of bilking investors into giving $35 million to his companies. Family Wealth Legacy was the name of one company, and Zola, promising guaranteed returns using an up-vesting fund that allegedly was an algorithmic trading fund with a history of success, prosecutors said. Piercy allegedly admitted privately to an associate that there was no up-vesting fund. Piercy originally recruited Winton as an investor, but Winton eventually took on management responsibilities at Zola. They used some investor money for various business and personal expenses, including 2 residential properties and a houseboat. Few, if any, liquid assets remain to repay investors, so they're fucked. Piercy faces...
I'm sorry. Can I just say, Zola sounds like sounds exactly like what it is. A Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme. I realise the two are slightly different.
So does Family Wealth Legacy.
Yeah. Also, what is an up-vesting? That's not even a word.
Piercy faces charges, Rob, including... This is why I'd love to work for the FBI. Piercy faces charges including wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, and witness tampering. His arraignment is scheduled for Tuesday. Winton, who has been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, has an initial court appearance on Thursday. If convicted, both Winton and Piercy face 20 years in prison and hundreds of dollars of thousands in fines. Winton's attorney told the Bee his client looks forward to the judicial process, shedding light on what actually occurred here, which is a very sort of roundabout way of saying not much at all. Okay. Last story, Rob, from my little segment here. I love this story. It is from the Gothamist.com. Now, I assume that the Gothamist covers New York, because New York, I don't know if anybody knows this, New York is often referenced as Gotham. So was Gotham in Batman meant to be New York, I assume?
I assume so, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if it was based on that. Yeah, and maybe like Bruce Manor was in Westchester or something, but... yeah, are we absolutely sure this is a legitimate news source?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a great website, actually. I was having a look around it. This is by Jake Offenhart's video, and anybody who wants to see this can go online and watch it. Parking spot brawl escalates into road rage assault, injuring 4 and wrecking a bakery.
It's the wrecking a bakery that makes that headline.
Well, the wrecking of the bakery is even better when you hear the circumstances. So this is an argument, Rob, that anybody who spent any time in London can all identify with this. An argument, Rob, over a parking spot turned violent on Monday after an angry Queens driver attempted to run over his adversaries and ended up ploughing through the window of a brand new bakery, police said. At least 4 people were injured in the road rage assault, which happened on Kisenna Boulevard near Flushing's Main Street just after 5 p.m, according to an NYPD spokesperson. Surveillance and bystander videos shared with the Gothamist show a curbside brawl between 4 men over the coveted car parking spot. So
Right.
4 people are involved in this. One of the assailants can be seen swinging a baseball bat at another man, who police identified as 24-year-old Jai Zhu. Zhu then got into his Audi A6. So are you with me so far? You got 4 people, Rob.
I am.
Rob, can you stop stroking your pussy?
It's just preventive from jumping up. But yes, I'm with you so far, Alex.
Right, so you've got 4 people arguing over a car parking spot. It's turned into a brawl, one person swinging a baseball bat. Another of the guys, Zhu, then gets into his Audi A6 and attempted to run over the man wielding the baseball bat and his friend, according to police and witnesses. In the process, he jumped the curb in his car and plunged through the window of Rainbow Bakery, which was celebrating its grand opening.
Oh my God, that's amazing! Oh, that
you couldn't write it, could you?
Bakery. Oh Jesus!
3 women and a man were hospitalised with non-life-threatening injuries. Zhu was charged with assault and reckless endangerment. The passenger in his car, 35-year-old Jonathan Zhang, was also charged with assault. Rainbow Bakery owner John Lowe told CBS 2 that one of his employees was struck by a shard of glass and most of his new merchandise was damaged. You're not going to be able to sell those cakes, are you?
Well,
what's that frosting on the top? Oh, it's a bit of broken glass.
What's wrong with that, Alex? Just reduce the price. Someone will buy them.
Okay, Rob, you got some stories for us there.
Yeah, now I'm going to apologise because I don't think Alex has either, but I haven't got any local news stories. These are all from national newspapers. So be it. I mean, it's still news, isn't it? Anyway, so my first story is from the Metro. It was first published on the 16th of November by Tom Williams, and the headline: pilots use jets to draw penis in the sky in support of masturbating footballer.
What masturbating footballer? I missed this one.
Yeah, you may. It was the captain of the Russian team.
What? See, I read papers every day. I don't know how I missed some of these stories, but okay.
So, 2 pilots under investigation for allegedly manoeuvring their passenger jets through the air so it drew the shape of the penis in the sky. The phallic-like turns were captured on flight tracking software and were apparently a bizarre act of solidarity with the Russian football team's captain.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Because you get these people, Rob, like train spotters or whatever, but who watch like plane radar information and all stuff like that. They like it. So they would have been sitting there watching this, one of these anoraks, and said, hang on a minute, that looks like a cock. A flight trajectory that looks like a cock.
I mean, it's quite clear as well, because obviously they just made a load of random turns for no apparent reason.
Rob, I'm really sorry, but speaking about wankers and cocks, we've got to quickly mention that Steve submitted us a video of Matt Hancock. After last week, Rob, you did one of my favourite stories in a long time, which was about the Matt Hancock app.
Yes.
And we talked about this was a man living on the edge of sort of like a nervous breakdown in constant desperation. And Steve, that video was apparently played on Have I Got News For You, Rob, interestingly. So,
oh, was it? Okay.
So Steve sent us a video of Matt Hancock singing karaoke at what looked like a Tory party bash, presumably pre-pandemic, otherwise this would be a national scandal. But it was a scandal anyway. Rob, it was just perfect. He was singing Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Do you know what I might do, Rob, is at the end of this episode, after you've said keep it local and we've done our endings, I'll just play us out with Matt Hancock. I think
that's
singing.
A lovely idea.
But Rob, you could almost do that, couldn't you? Don't stop me now, crying. That's how it sounded. I mean, not only was it incredibly bad, but it was a man on the edge of a nervous breakdown, and with an overestimation of his own competence as well. By the way.
Well, I mean that's true of any situation Matt Hancock's in. I think this is a man just enjoying himself, letting his hair down, all the anxiety, all the stress that he's been under, which was just washed away. And as soon as he gets on the mic, he just embodies Freddie Mercury and just blasts out these classics.
I'll play that at the end of the podcast so people can hear it. Anyway.
Please do. So the unnamed crew of the Russian Pobeda airline are reported to have flown the plane so that it drew a penis to back their country's team captain, Artem... This isn't going to be pronounced correctly. Dzhuba, who was suspended from international duty after footage appeared of him masturbating in bed was leaked online.
Sorry,
a video highlight.
How does video of somebody masturbating in bed get leaked online? Because who took the video? Did he take it himself?
Well, apparently he'd started a conversation with an alleged hacker, who are then, I think, maybe... I'm assuming that she was also using a pseudonym, and he'd...
Oh, right, he didn't know she was a hacker. I see. So she...
Yeah.
It was a honey trap. I see.
Yeah, and she leaked it online. I say she, it may have been a he, I don't know. A video highlights that the alleged X-rated detour taken by flight DP-407 en route from Moscow to Yekaterinburg this happened on November the 11th. So Kremlin-owned RT called it a ballsy flight path, but questioned whether the alleged stunt was a bit too cocky. This was probably the way in which Pobeda captains expressed their support for Russian team captain Artem, I can't pronounce his second name, and showed their attitude to him being bullied. It was later confirmed that the Federal Air Transport Agency is investigating the phallic protests over the city of Netamsk. Reports suggested that the crew requested permission for the air manoeuvres due to a need to check radio navigation equipment.
Ah, clever. I see. Do you think it was one of those flights that left a chemtrail sort of behind, and so you could actually see the imprint of the cock in the sky afterwards? I don't think it was, but I like to think it was.
Oh, I hope so. It really is, yeah. It'd be great if that is the case. It is known that the scheduled flight with budget airline Pobeda, part of the national flag carrier Aeroflot, landed 20 minutes later in Yekaterinburg. I think that's how you pronounce it. Separately, the FSB Security Services is investigating whether the 32-year-old Zenit St. Petersburg player was blackmailed for $5 million over the compromising video which allegedly hacked from his mobile phone. The married player reportedly met a hacker responsible for stealing the intimate footage but refused to pay the ransom.
See, I don't think that would really work, you see, because there's lots of things that I've been like if it was like, I don't know, I've got footage of you having an affair or something like that, then I can imagine that might make me think, oh God, should I pay this money? But if it was just me having a wank, I'm not sure that would do it, Rob. I'd be like, yeah, keep it.
Well, Alex, I mean, I've got.
No, but do you know what I mean?
That I could leak, and I would be
willing
to discuss the cost. I mean, Alex, I've been to your house many a time, and let's just say there's always opportunities, I feel, for blackmailing friends, because you never know when they're going to prove useful. So just don't look too closely behind your wall of Funko Pops. What
I would say to Rob is that it's the perfect disguise, isn't it, Rob, for a secret Russian operative to read a story on a podcast containing lots of Russian words and mispronounce them all. Very good, Rob. But we all know your game.
I don't know what you're talking about, comrade. Sorry, Alex.
All right, what's your next story?
So my next story is from the Traitorous Guardian. What's the day on it? So it's from the 11th of November. There's no journalist listed. And the headline: Japanese town deploys monster wolf robots to deter bears.
So fuck off. Only in Japan, monster wolf robots. I mean, that is a cartoon I would have watched. That's all it needs to be called. Monster Wolf Robots. Fucking hell, I'm buying the merchandise. I'm getting up on Saturday morning to watch that. No? Monster Wolf Robots. Absolutely. Monster Wolf Robots.
Why did I go there? You're absolutely right. That is a childless cartoon in the making.
Monster Wolf Robots. There it is.
Very good. So, a Japanese town has deployed robot wolves in an effort to scare away bears that have become an increasingly dangerous nuisance in the countryside.
Yes.
So the town of Kakikawa on the northern island of Hokkaido purchased...
See how well Rob pronounced those Japanese names compared to the Russian ones? That's all I'm saying, anyway.
I think it's actually Hokkaido, but anyway. Purchased and installs 2 monster wolf robots after bears were found roaming neighbourhoods in September. City officials said that no bear encounters. City officials said that there've been no bear encounters since. So it looks
wouldn't
like,
be, would there? Forget whether or not the bear thinks it's a wolf. The bear is going to be fucking scared by a monster wolf robot. Do you know what I mean? They didn't need to make them look like wolves. They could have just sent out the robots. Are there pictures of these monster robot wolves?
There is. If you want to Google them, you can find them.
Monster robot wolves is all I'm going to put in.
Come
on, the new TV show. Yes, got it. Oh, fucking hell! Holy shit, that is the freakiest thing I've ever seen in my life. They've made it really look like a wolf. Fucking hell.
They are actually quite terrifying.
Rob, they've got red glowing eyes, for fuck's sake.
Well, it does mention this. So bear sightings in Japan are a 5-year high and occur mostly in rural areas in western and northern Japan. The national broadcaster NHK has reported. There were dozens of attacks so far in 2020, 2 of them fatal, prompting the government to convene an emergency meeting last month to address the threat. The monster wolf has 4 legs, a shaggy body, blonde mane, and red glowing eyes. When its motion detectors are activated, it moves its head, flashes lights, and emits sounds ranging from wolf howling to machinery noises.
To be fair, I do need to say that when Rob initially mentioned the monster robot wolves in Japan, I did get a very different image, like the kind of things we grew up with, like sort of something from anime, like these very sophisticated, like proper, fully fledged sort of robot wolves. They're not. They're like, Rob, like when you go and you like, I don't know, you might be in the countryside somewhere and somebody's put up one of those fake owls to deter rodents or whatever, and it's just literally like a wooden owl or whatever it's made out of, metal owl, and the head just turns around. That's basically what they've done, haven't they? It's just a wolf whose eyes flash and it makes noises, but it can't actually run or chase or destroy these bears in the way I would have wanted.
Yeah, it's like something that was created by Industrial Light and Magic, but rapidly. I mean, it was only ever a prototype, and they let it round by the bins, and someone's nicked it.
Can I just say, Rob, you're painting Industrial Light and Magic there to be quite amateurish. Industrial Light and Magic are at the forefront of these technologies and involved in many of the movies and television shows you would enjoy. Of course, set up by George Lucas many years ago. I'm just saying that I'm not really sure that was fair.
Yeah, but and I'm saying it was a prototype. Everyone needs a prototype to build upon. You need something like this, which is shitty, and then you come up with something like, give me an example, Jabba the Hutt. I'm not saying, by the way, that these wars were the prototype for Jabba the Hutt. There's no correlation there. Anyway, let's move on. I do like the fact that the noises were so it's a range from a wolfish howl to machinery noises.
Yeah, that's weird because wolves don't normally make machinery noises, do they?
No, I like the idea that I don't know why, but you just imagine, I don't know, maybe like you encounter one of these wolves and it just opens its mouth like the noise of a car wash comes out. Or something.
Or the boiling of an electric kettle, that kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. So the maker, Okta Shiki, has sold around 70 units since 2018.
That's a lot. See, yeah. I don't know. I think I'd prefer to risk the probably unlikely threat of a bear attack rather than having these monstrosities dotted around my picturesque countryside. If I was going to walk through if we had bear attack problems in the British countryside, I'm not sure I'd want these massive hulking robot wolves dotted around. They're an eyesore, Rob.
It doesn't actually say how many they've actually purchased for this town, but just to say, the real Japanese wolf roamed the central and northern islands of the country before being hunted to extinction more than a century ago. So now you can see these creatures back in their natural habitat.
Absolutely. Now, Rob, before we get on to our listener story of the week, I have had in my inbox for quite a long time now numerous different stories which I've never read out because they kept on going about this turkey called Gerald. And what I've really wanted is an article that kind of pulls it all together because there's too much. And thankfully, The Guardian have done that for me today. Now, it is an extraordinarily long article, so I won't read it all out. So this is from California. I don't know if you've even come across this, Rob, but it is absolutely extraordinary. So it's by Carrie Paul, who's reporting from Oakland, California, 26th of November. Headline, all we could do was run. Strange story of Gerald, the turkey who terrorized a city. And that's not an under-exaggeration, Rob.
Okay.
Or an understatement. The turkey locked eyes with her from across the park. Like many Oaklanders, 16-year-old Jojo Thompson had heard plenty of stories about Gerald, the feisty turkey harassing visitors in the city's Rose Garden. But before visiting the 7-acre public park with a friend on a recent October afternoon, she thought the tales had been exaggerated. After seeing the agitated turkey closing in on some people nearby, Thompson and her friend took refuge behind a tree, but they weren't safe for long. Gerald soon had the teens in his sight. The bird started stalking them menacingly, Thompson recalled, then chased them up the hill and out of the park. She lost both of her shoes in the process. That suggests to me you are really, really having to run.
No, that suggests to me that she wasn't wearing adequate footwear.
All that. I had heard of his attacks, but I never thought it would happen to me, Thompson said. All we could do was run. Can I just say there's a good movie here, isn't there? Gerald. And you have a picture of a very menacing turkey like Jaws, and the strapline is, all you can do is run. Yeah. No, that's what's to bring... After post-COVID, that's going to be the movie to get people back into theatres.
Well, I mean, yeah, but just out of desperation.
Yeah. Gerald's, Industrial Light and Magic can do the special effects.
Exactly. Maybe they could reuse that wolf,
Yeah.
Just take off the skin and put in a turkey costume.
Gerald's unusually aggressive behaviour in the Rose Garden has taken on an almost mythical status in parts of California City over the past 6 months. And this is true, Rob. I regularly get fine stories about this turkey. And as I said, I've wanted to report them, but there's been too much. And I needed an article like this to pull them all together.
Okay.
Stories of his reign of terror in the otherwise tranquil spot first spread across town, then sparked national and international headlines. The reports were often similar. Gerald would spot an unsuspecting victim from across the garden. He would take off running, either chasing them away or, if they stood their ground, mounting and scratching them until they fled. He often targeted young and older people, those who could not quickly outrun him. These were targeted attacks, Rob. He seemed particularly attracted to the wheeled vehicles, including baby strollers. When angry, he puffed up his chest, towering over 4 foot tall, and despite his bulk, I mean, Rob, that's almost as tall as you.
4 foot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is fucking hell.
He was swift. A typical adult male turkey can weigh up to 25 pounds, run 25 miles per fucking hour, and fly up to 55 miles per hour. Wild turkeys have a 270-degree field of vision and can see 3 times more clearly than 20/20, making it easy for Gerald to spot his victims from across the garden. This is a fucking super turkey. I didn't know turkey had vision like that. I feel a bit jealous.
Yeah, I must admit, I always thought the turkeys were quite stupid animals, but evidently not.
No. Gerald's antics transfixed the city, with residents hunkered down at home because of the pandemic and wildfire smoke following the saga on social media, blogs and news reports. A fierce debate emerged. What should be done? Ban visitors from the park? Move Gerald to less frequent areas? Should he perhaps be euthanized? The discussions played out in thousands of online threads that at a time turned neighbour against neighbour. At least 3 city agencies and the State Department of Fish and Wildlife became involved. An expert animal trapper was called in, which I do have the separate story about, but thankfully it's included in this, and an electrical company entered the fray. It is unclear, Rob, how long Gerald had roamed the Rose Garden or when he was given his name. Some say they saw the bird fly into the garden about 4 years ago. Many started recognising Gerald because of his fanned tail, missing a prominent feather on the left side. What is evident, however, is that Gerald began turning on his human neighbours this year. According to a tally of online reports, Gerald has harassed more than 100 people in 2020. That's a lot, Rob, isn't it? That's a person every 3 days, really.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether he's been caught up in some sort of Ponzi scheme or something. He's lost his house, he's lost his family, everything.
Yeah, he just fucked off. And then he's got Thanksgiving to look forward to. Anyway.
Exactly.
And hoping that President Trump will pardon him. That's what Trump should have done. Brought Gerald the turkey in and pardoned him.
Yeah.
Anyway, attacks from the turkey became so common that some people would not enter the Rose Garden, which is a very prominent park for this area, without a weapon, such as a stick, a rake, or an umbrella. One person said he used pepper spray. Some stopped going to the park altogether. Rob, can you imagine pepper spraying a turkey?
Quite easily, Alex, yeah.
Even those who stayed out weren't safe. Julia Williams, who lives nearby, describes a typical encounter with the bird. I was carrying a basket of laundry to my car when we saw each other, she recalled. Once we locked eyes, he sprinted towards me, wings outstretched. I barely made it to my car, but completely threw my back out in the process. I was in bed, unable to walk, for a week. In online accounts, some victims describe simply being chased, while others have suffered lacerations from his claws and bruises. At least one person claimed to have been sent to the hospital for stitches. Not all accounts of run-ins with Gerald could be verified, but interviews with victims and a review of photos and videos of attacks confirmed many. He had this habit of loitering by the stairs of the garden, almost daring you to walk up and down, said Maria Hunt, who has lived near the garden for more than a decade and has been attacked by Gerald 2 times. Gerald was like a winged boogeyman, a Cerberus of the Rose Garden who would have been comical if he had not been so menacing. Gerald was once a mellow guy, often seen standing in line with people waiting at the casual carpool, a community-driven ride-sharing service, or calmly stalking around the fountains of the garden. Can I just say, Rob, what other place on earth? I can't imagine one of our towns or cities just allowing this turkey to have sort of free reign. Like, he was literally just allowed to do what the fuck he wanted. I mean, looking at him, I mean, he is majestic but enormous.
But Alex, it does sound like people have forgotten the fact he's a turkey. He's not a human. He doesn't understand you when you talk to him. He's a fucking turkey. He wasn't queuing to join the carpool. He was just queuing because, I don't know, maybe there's an opportunity for him to get fed.
In late 2019 or early 2020, his behaviour started to change. This is not normal behaviour, said Alan Crocker, a turkey behaviour expert. What a job. What do you do? I'm a turkey behaviour expert. Very niche.
Yeah, Alex, I'm sorry to say, that sounds like something, that sounds like an occupation that's on par with snarl, let's be honest.
Well, he explained that male turkeys fight each other for dominance and over flocks of hens, but occasionally some males misdirect that aggression to include people. The big question is why Gerald's relationship to humans has soured. Turkey populations have been on the rise in California in recent decades after years of conservationists' attempts to encourage populations in the wild. The bird is a common sight in Oakland. There are often 2 or 3 pecking around the garden. Many attribute Gerald's behaviour change to garden visitors feeding him, including one woman well known in the neighbourhood for giving him daily snacks. Indeed, feeding turkeys may make them dangerously accustomed to humans and more likely to approach them. But others disagree with this theory and say Gerald had been fed for years before his behaviour took a turn. Another common theory is that a rise in Oakland's population and a decline in natural spaces where turkeys can thrive increase the potential for turkey-human conflict. Gerald was not an issue until COVID hit. Maybe, I just feel like he was in a bad mood one day, he attacked somebody, but he got a taste for it, Rob. I think now he has bloodlust. Right?
Possibly. I also
why can't a turkey be a psychopath? Why not? Could be a psychopathic turkey.
Any animal. I think any animal could potentially be a psychopath. I just like the phrase human turkey conflict.
Yes, indeed. The Bernard Matthews organisation would know all about that.
He would, yeah. I mean, he was regularly staging fist fights with turkeys. The media won't report it, but that's what he was doing.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, you can't slander the dead. I can say anything I like about Bernard Matthews.
Is that true? Is that true? Yeah, but you can slander the estate and the company. That is not true. Bernard Matthews was not engaging in fistfights with turkeys in an underground car park.
That's what I thought you were asking. Were you asking whether it was true? I mean, I have sources who will go on the record to say that
Rob,
Bernard Matthews was in a bare fist turkey fight with turkeys regularly on a weekly basis and charged for the privilege.
He tried to sell the rights to Sky, but they didn't want it. Turkey-human conflict was the idea for the episode. Now, that is all, of course, said in the name of jest, isn't it, Rob?
Yes.
So anyway, people are blaming basically the pandemic, Rob, because the area became flooded with visitors after the COVID lockdowns pushed crazy people outdoors. So maybe he was overwhelmed, Rob, I think is the idea. Yeah. But basically, it's created rifts in the community that some people don't think will ever be healed. Discussions online have turned very nasty between people who want to keep Gerald around and people who want to basically, have him killed or taken away. I mean, this turkey is fucking enormous, Rob. It's the size of a 5-year-old, I would say, but
right.
larger sort of in circumference. So yeah, people have been at each other's throats. One woman who posted about her Gerald encounter on Nextdoor on a forum called Nextdoor said she faced immediate vitriol. Somebody told me to get psychiatric help. Anyway,
told her or the turkey to get psychiatric help?
Her. And then there've been a Save Gerald campaign because the city of Oakland was forced to act, obtaining a permit to euthanize and remove the turkey, which is classified as a nuisance animal. He was scheduled to be killed on the 22nd of June. But a petition on change.org to save Gerald quickly amassed more than 13,000 signatures. Concerned neighbours wrote emails to Oakland Animal Services and the city. A Virginia-based animal rights group called United Poultry Concerns joined the campaign. United Poultry Concerns there. And an animal sanctuary offered to take Gerald in. Not Eagle.
Well, that's nice.
Meanwhile, a war was being waged via flyers posted around the Rose Garden. Wanted signs encouraging the killing of Gerald appeared. Soon after, artistic homages to Gerald reimagined the bird as an Egyptian god, which I'm looking at now, and they do reimagine Gerald as an Egyptian god. The city has begun looking for alternatives. Representatives from Oakland Animal Services attempted to retrain Gerald to fear humans, a regimen that involved, among other things, startling him with swiftly open umbrellas, but it didn't work. And this was the most recent story I had. They basically got this a woman called Rebecca Dimtrick, the director of Wildlife Emergency Services, a private volunteer group based in California's Central Coast, their equivalent of SNAR, Rob, Wildlife Emergency Services. She describes herself as an expert animal trapper, but she struggled to close in on Gerald. She staked out the park over a course of a month before settling on a new method, and it was brilliant, this story, Rob, when I read it. So she decided to act like Gerald's favourite prey. She dressed up as an enfeebled old woman because he attacks old women. So she dressed up as an old woman, all hunched over. She crouched over as unable to move to lure Gerald in before grabbing him by the neck. And he had a stunned look on his face, apparently. But basically, he's been relocated, Rob, to a patch of wildland in the hills of Berkeley owned by an electric company that's agreed to allow the turkey to live out his days in peace and quiet. His retirement dreams did not last long. According to the Department of Fish and Wildlife, Gerald found his way into the playground of a new park within a week and began attacking people. The staff called us...
I generally thought you were about to say he was electrocuted soon after.
What would you... Oh, I love that. The image of putting a turkey in an electric chair. Amazing.
Yeah, it's quite horrific. But also... Not
the method of slaughter that was used or is used by the Bernard Matthews organisation, I should hasten to add. They are stunned, but not by an electric chair. It's far too costly.
Yeah, it's just by a bunch of live wires they just have hanging around.
No, it is not, Rob. We are kidding. I mean, we're speculating really about all producers of turkey-based snacks, and of course, all of them, Rob, kill turkeys in a humane way and have the highest standards in terms of animal welfare, meat production, all of it, and all of them are family-owned, run businesses, Rob, that really keep the community in their heart, Rob. And really, we should be paying them to do the jobs they do.
I think the better question is, are they paying you, Alex? It certainly sounded like it.
No comment. Now, Rob, it's time for... Hang on, you've got a lot of excitement. What's going on? Concentrate.
Alex, amazingly, I've just had a Sky News alert come through saying that thousands of turkeys to be culled after bird flu outbreak at North Yorkshire Farm.
Yeah, you see, that's how to treat a turkey, Rob, isn't it? Now,
Alex, that's because they've all been punched in the face and they have to be put down. That's put out of their misery.
Right. Okay.
Again, allegedly.
Look, it is time, Rob, for our... Listener story of the week. That's plaintive that time, Rob.
It's quite weak this week. So this week it is from Face to Strange. It is from the Metro, and it's from this week, actually. It's the 25th of November, by Lucy Middleton. And the headline: salon owner facing £27,000 fine after quoting Magna Carta to defy lockdown.
So a what owner?
A salon owner.
I thought you said salmon, as in the fish.
Man who owns fish. A salon owner.
Right. Okay, the Magna Carta. Yeah, let's bring out the Magna Carta and talk about that. Why not?
So, a salon owner who refused to close during England's current lockdown has been fined £27,000. Sinead Quinn, who runs the Quinn Blakely Hairdressers, was initially fined £1,000 for staying open after November 5th. She stayed open and further fines were issued. She tried to use the Magna Carta's defence for her decision to stay open. However, the law she cited, Clause 61, offering 25 barons the right to lawfully dissent or rebel if they thought they were being governed unjustly, was repealed and never incorporated into English law.
Oh right, so hang on. So she's using what, some sort of arcana of the Magna Carta, something that wasn't even put in. So it's like an appendices, is it, of like things that never made it in. The headlines that never made it.
Exactly. Yeah. Clause 61 offering 25 barons the right to lawfully dissent or rebel if they thought they were being governed unfairly.
I wonder why that didn't make it into the Magna Carta. Seems fair to me.
I think, well, it's a clause where you basically opt out of law.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, it says rightfully dissent, weren't the words. I mean...
Well, yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to the sovereign citizen, where you just feel that you're you feel that you're being, I don't know, there's some plot against you, I suppose.
If a man chooses to have bare knuckle fights with a turkey in his basement, that should be up to him. I'm rebelling against the government and doing it anyway. That kind of thing.
Absolutely, Alex. And you know, I think if there's nothing more British than a man bare-chested, covered in the blood of one of his own turkeys in a dimly lit barn as he swings wildly at and it's not just one, Alex. I mean, he faces I don't know what a collective name for a group of turkeys is, but there's usually a few of them there. And it's nothing sexual.
Throng. I think it's called a throng of turkeys. That's what I think.
Yeah. So a man in his 60s, bare-chested, covered in the blood of his turkeys, with a throng of turkeys at his feet as he throws fists wildly in order to hopefully connect.
That is our God-given right, Rob. That is our birthright, isn't it, as Englishmen?
Exactly. That's, I mean, what else can you say? I mean, that makes me feel patriotic, Alex.
Do you know, a tear welled up in my eye, Rob? I can imagine that's the kind of thing that Nigel Farage masturbates over, that image.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right. That is Nigel Farage's wet dreams. That's when he wakes up next to his wife or whoever he's married to at the moment and just turns to her and go, I've just had the most amazing dream. And then just goes to the bathroom to clean himself down.
And then goes out to the shops to buy a packet of turkey Twizzlers.
Yeah, to shove down his trousers. Right, so Kirklees Council ordered her to pay £4,000 on September, and police issued a further two £10,000 fines when she opened on Monday and Tuesday. Quinn had previously shared videos of herself arguing with the council officials and police on Instagram. In one clip, she could be seen telling them that she didn't consent to the unlawful fines and cited common law in her defence. I mean, Alex, I'd love to know where she's getting legal advice. I mean, maybe she's in contact with Giuliani. I don't know.
Well, I'm worried that she could be getting it from our lawyers, Rob, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So on Tuesday, Quinn shared a picture of the police outside the salon and captured it. This is what your taxpayers' money goes towards. Sitting outside my business while I'm lawfully earning a living. In another video, she accused the police of stalking her. The council said in a statement, it is absolutely crucial for people's safety that we follow the latest COVID-19 rules and guidelines. And Kirklees currently has the 5th highest rates in the country, with 150 people being admitted to hospital last week and 25 sadly losing their lives in COVID-related deaths. It goes on like this. But yeah, so there we are. A woman who is standing by these laws and claimed that she doesn't have to shut down because of the Magna Carta and common law.
Who is that story from, Rob?
Face the Strange.
Oh, of course it was. Yes. What a brilliant story. Thank you, Face the Strange. I mean, it does, these conversations do make me think, well, why don't you write a letter to your MP, Ian Duncan Smith, saying that you would like him to bring a motion to the Houses of Parliament to discuss entering into law the God-given right of every Englishman to have fist fights with a turkey in their barn if they so choose. I think that's something that Ian Duncan Smith could really get behind.
I agree. Unfortunately, Ian Duncan Smith doesn't actually represent my constituency. I think he's the neighbouring constituency.
That's it. Who represents your constituency? Do you know?
So it's Dame Eleanor Lane, who was standing to be the Speaker of the House. When was it? Last year, I think it was.
And isn't she Deputy Speaker now?
Oh, she might be. I don't know. Possibly.
Right.
But again, she is. I think she's a hardline Conservative, Alex, and I think so. I doubt my letter would fall on deaf ears. Yeah. If I'm honest. It wouldn't surprise me. She also partakes.
Before we get again, Rob, do you want to track that?
Nope.
Look, we've reached the end of this episode of the podcast, and look, as we what do I normally say here? I've forgotten. Sorry, we are getting to the headlines, which never made it. We look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation yet trepidation to our next episode, which will be episode 328, as we move ever more forward. Hang on, I can get there, Rob.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Alex, we've only got so much time left.
As we move ever more forward, like Rob.
Like a man escaping in a truck, only to realise he's running out of road, and then make the snap decision to jump into a lake using his sea scooter to try and evade the feds, only to fail miserably.
Only to realise once he gets into the lake, he has nowhere to go.
Exactly.
And it's freezing. Just like that, we move ever more forward to our next episode, which will be episode 328. We can be found on our website, lapodcast.net. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/LA Podcast. We're on Twitter at LA Podcast. We're on Spotify. Please leave us a review. Please hit subscribe. Please do all that stuff. Donate to the worthy cause that is this podcast if you want to on the website. There is a donate button there, lapodcast.net. Remember that we have another podcast, Rob and I, called Daft Talk. It's on the same feed as the local anaesthetic one. We're up to something like, what is it now? 19 episodes of Daft Talk, I believe. Bloody hell, that's going...
19 episodes, yeah.
It's going quickly, isn't it, Rob? But look, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, if you want to submit us a story, and hopefully either feature on our listener story of the week each week or on our listener story special, which will be coming up at Christmas, you can post it on Facebook, tweet it to us, or you can email us the good old-fashioned way, lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That's lapodcast.net@gmail.com. My favourite time, really, Rob, well, not actually my favourite time, that's a lie, but I do look forward to this, which is the headlines which never made it. I've got an obscene amount this week, so I might not read them all out. We'll see. How many have you got, Rob?
I've got 4.
Then I think I will go with 4 and save, so we got a bit of symmetry. Right, okay, Rob, do you want to go first? First headline, which never made it, never featured this week fully.
So, woman quits job to earn 6 figures a month acting as a dog on Fans Only.
Please, no. That should have been read out, Rob. I'm angry.
It's not worth it.
Okay,
Alex.
tell me the story at least. Give me the bare bones.
It was a woman who acted as a dog on TikTok and then realised that if she made them slightly kinky, her followers dramatically increased. So now she's moved to OnlyFans, where people pay for her to watch her act as a dog in underwear. Right. Okay. Taiwan teen woken from 62-day coma by words chicken fillet. He was in a coma for 62 days. His brother was by his bedside and said, "I'm going to eat your favourite meal. I'm going to eat your favourite meal, chicken fillet." And he immediately woke up. So, well, I think we can all sympathise with that. Yeah. Driver takes to the streets with entire greenhouse strapped to roof. Sorry, what? Where was this? This was in the UK. A man basically went to buy a second-hand greenhouse and then strapped it to the roof of his car. Lest the glass had been taken out of it. It was just a structure. But nevertheless, okay. The mayor of Tennessee won't order people to wear masks until the Holy Spirit says so. Right. He says he's communing with God every day and he's waiting for the call. But the trouble is, other people have said in Tennessee, well, I've been talking to the Holy Spirit and he says we should be wearing masks. So, which is it? But either way. Yeah. So, man arrives at wedding with 6 pregnant women and claims he's the dad of them all. Yeah, well, that's a bold move, isn't it? He was just a guest as well, by the way. Oh, right, I see. Sorry, I thought that was the groom. Anyway. No,
By the way, my fiance and wife to be, I have 6 other wives, all of whom are pregnant, and I'm the father of them all. Let's get hitched.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, I wanted to read this story. I really did, but it was too sad, really, in many ways. But it's one of my favourite headlines in a long time. A Chinese county aims to curb dog walking by threatening to kill the dogs. So basically, they've had enough of people walking the dogs many times a day, and what they've said to people is you're going to get 3 warnings if you're seen with your dog out when you should be indoors. First warning, second warning, third warning, we kill the dog. I mean, that is a way to handle the problem, isn't it? It really is.
Oh, it certainly is, yeah. I mean, and also, only in China, possibly Russia. And my last headline, shirtless groom accidentally kicks wife in face during wedding lap dance.
oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, and last headline, which never made it. Man applying for Washington State Patrol job gets arrested during job interview.
Brilliant.
Okay, right, well that does bring us fully to the end of this episode. We're going to be back in a week's time with Daft Talk episode 20. That's where Rob and I mine the online world of human curiosity that is Yahoo Answers. We absolutely love doing that. If you haven't listened to that yet, come along and join us. It is brilliant. And a week after that, we'll be back with episode 328 of this podcast,
yes.
Local Anesthetic Podcast. We've really enjoyed your company. Thank you for listening, everybody. See you soon. God bless.
And keep it local.
And even though I'm breaking with tradition, here is Matt Hancock singing Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.